So the very important thing about immunotherapy in general, and for antibody-based therapy specifically, is that while we've made a lot of headway and a lot of success in the management of patients using these approaches, many of them are still in clinical trial development. And as such, patients having an informed discussion, an informed conversation with their physicians whether or not clinical trial participation is applicable to them is a very important concept. A lot of the work that I showed today, including those that are in early trials and even the drugs that have been recently approved, only got to that stage based on the graciousness and the generosity of our patients by participating in these trials. So I think whenever there's a decision point that is coming up for any of our patients, I think it's important for them and their family to discuss with their doctors if clinical trial participation in these trials is appropriate for them. So the important thing is that there is a lot of hype and a lot of interest justified in these immunotherapies, including antibody-based treatments, but this toxicity is oftentimes downplayed when we have informed consents with these patients. So even for some of our approved agents that are currently FDA approved for treatment, I think it's very important to discuss in a very balanced manner the responses or the benefits that the patients could potentially have, but also juxtapose that with equal weight with the potential toxicities, and perhaps just as importantly, how these toxicities can be mitigated. I would also encourage that a lot of our partners, both at the institution and in the community, should also think about clinical trials when they're appropriate for our patients, because that's really the only way that we can bring some of these ideas, which are our best ideas in a very long time, to market. So one of the key strengths of Mass General Hospital, at least in the gynecologic cancer division, is a seamless integration between the laboratory, the translational research arm, and the clinical trial section. So for example, I currently work in the lab alongside Dr. David Spriggs, who's the program director, and at the same time we do bench or basic clinical research with animal models and mice, etc. We also are able to bring back clinical samples from the lab and answer translational questions that are important. And by so doing, we can have a more meaningful or more productive conversation with our clinical trial sponsors. I think a very unique aspect at Mass General Hospital is encouraging and even promoting these sorts of interactions where the same physician either is a clinical translational investigator or a basic translational investigator, or people such as myself and Dr. David Spriggs, who span all three domains. I think having a very supportive environment, particularly within the Cancer Center under Dr. David Ryan and Dr. Habel, has really helped facilitate or promote these sorts of basically triple threats is what we call them.